You guys, I think this is probably my single most crazy story. I did get permission to tell this story, as well as I am changing all of the names of the people involved in said story just to protect privacy a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump in and tell you all about how my client got catfished, and I'm the one who figured it out. Her name for this story is Mary. I get a text from Mary one day. She's looking for an apartment in the city with her boyfriend. Let's set up some tours and see what you guys think. Zero red flags, all's good. I set up these tours and we go out to do our day of touring in the city. And she tells me her boyfriend's not gonna be able to come along because he's out of the country. Perfect, fine. I've had clients who tour entirely virtually. I am used to it. When I send a client their tour schedule, in my email, I talk a little bit about like, you're going to want to be prepared to put in your application. In order to do so, you will need a photo of your IDs as well as your proof of income. And she follows up and was like, hey, I'm quitting my primary source of income to move there. Is it okay that he is the main source of income to qualify for the apartment? We see this all the time. Like if somebody is a stay-at-home parent, they're not going to be having income to the buildings. It does not matter where the money's coming from. They just need to see X amount of money in order to qualify for the apartment. So we go out and start doing these tours. Everything's going good. She is getting videos to send to him. And as for touring, I'm starting to get a little bit more information on just the overall picture of everything. She lets me know that her boyfriend is a pilot. He works for United. He has been crazy overworked right now because they're wildly understaffed. He had been on the road, like flying for an extended period of time. And she says that he's currently in Berlin because he has been sick with a respiratory infection. And so he's been like going and trying to get meds and everything there, but they are housing him in Berlin until he is better and well enough to be able to fly home. I don't know a lot about pilots. Okay, sounds good. They're looking for a 2-bed. We are looking at like some of the most gorgeous 2-beds in all of Chicago. He does have 2 children, 2 twin boys with a ex-wife. They live primarily with their mom. However, they will be coming and visiting. For the most part, the second bedroom is going to be her office and then flex space for when the boys come and visit. Sounds good. A lot of the buildings we're looking at have like kid rooms and like playrooms as like an amenity space. So like this is something where I'm like, this is great. This works well. She currently lives in like a smaller town outside of Chicago, a few hours away. She is finishing up schooling and so she's going to be transferring to a school in Chicago. So she's really excited to transfer up here. She's going to be quitting one of her jobs. There's a lot of things like in motion and I'm like, wow. This is so exciting. This is like just such a big change for you. Like so much is happening. I'm so excited for you. And like genuinely so excited for her. He does currently own a place in Streeterville. She doesn't know how big it is, but they're not going to be living there together. They want to get somewhere that's their space. And she's like, I don't really know what he's going to do with that. Probably rent it out or something, but like we're going to get this together. And I'm like, okay, you should probably figure out what he's going to do with it. But let me know if he has any questions. I can help if he wants to rent it out or like just let me know I'm here. Oh, wait, sorry. And they started dating in August. They're going to be moving in together in December. And she was like, I know it's a little bit fast, but it's kind of just like when you know kind of thing. And who am I to judge? That basically wraps up the tours. She's got videos of everything. She has opinions, but she's like, I really want to see what he thinks and what to do from there. So she sends me a text that night that's a screenshot from him. And it says, I love the place, baby. And she goes, which one? And he goes, all baby, with like laughing emojis and like the heart hands. And she was like, that doesn't help. And I'm sitting there and I don't know why, but I read that and I was like, I'm getting red flags. Things are just seeming a little weird to me. She comes back to me later and says that they've chosen which building they're gonna go ahead with. And I was like, perfect. That unit was stunning. I'll put a video up here. It was so beautiful with like just the most killer view, south facing windows, corner unit. It was so pretty. Fantastic. There is literally only 2 of those left in the entire building. You are going to want to move fast on them. I don't want someone to get their heart set on their favorite unit and then lose it. So I was like, go ahead and put in your application. I don't want you to miss out on this. She goes, I'm waiting on him to send me his stuff and then I'll submit the app. I'm just at a coffee shop reading, so I figured I'd knock it out right now. At this point, I'm feeling fishy, but I am optimistic. Very optimistic for her that it's real. And the fact that she's like, I'm at a coffee shop right now to submit it. I'm like, okay, they're talking about this. Like she is waiting somewhere. It's still in the realm of possibility that this is real and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. So a few hours goes by and she texts me later and says, he asked me if they want his driver's license or his pilot license. I'm dead. No, babe, they don't need proof that you can fly. They just want to know that you're a citizen of the US. And I'm just like, what a silly question. And she's like, I don't know why he asked me that. This isn't his first rodeo. And I'm like, eh. Text her later that night. Hey, did you get your application in? She's like, Nope, I'm still waiting for him to send over his info. He said that United is slow at sending pay stubs. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. No big company can you not access your pay stubs like that. Like, you have a portal where you can go in and pull what you got paid easily. I have helped over 1,000 people move into apartments in Chicago. You can access your pay stubs. I'm trying to like keep that thinking cap on. We are going with the benefit of the doubt because what if I'm wrong? So I was like, okay, not a problem. Why don't we do this? You can submit his bank statements. He can use his bank statements. At the end of the day, he probably will need to use his pay stubs, but at least that's a way for you to upload into the application, get the unit taken off the market so nobody else can take it. And then as soon as he gets those pay stubs, we will send them over. And she's like, okay, yep, that sounds good. 4 texts later, like same time frame, she goes, so I guess his driver's license and passport are at his apartment, which is locked. He said he'll send his cousin there today, but I'm getting so nervous. The man is a pilot who is supposedly stuck in Berlin. He has his passport. Like, he got into Berlin. And so I'm just like, how did he get into the country if he doesn't have his passport? What did he use? And she goes, I believe his pilot's license. So I was like, okay. If a pilot's license is a form of ID that was accepted by government, being the immigration for him to get into Europe, then that should work. Let me know if there's any questions. Yesterday evening, so at this point, it's been like a full 24 hours since the tours. And she's so excited and she keeps being like, yeah, we're doing it right now, and then isn't. I'm just still checking in, and I know her. Keep in mind, like, this isn't a brand new client. Like, I know her, and so we have a little bit more of a rapport. But I was just like, hey, any updates? And she's like, no. And I was like, is there anything that I can help with? And she's like, no, I just need him to do all of his stuff. And I said, do you mind sending me over his name, phone number, and email? I need it for my records. She sends it over to me. She sends me his name, phone number, email. And she goes, he's just getting home from work now, so I think he's filling out the application. Oh, here's where it all starts to blow up. As a real estate agent, I do have access to a background checker. So I grab his phone number, I put it in there. Record not found. You may rerun search using different search criteria. That phone number is not tied to any major carrier, and it is some sort of like Google phone number or a texting app. I am in this rabbit hole now. So I look him up by name, age, range, and city. There is nothing pulling for him at all. Possibly it's under a different city because she said that his ex-wife and everybody live in Boston. Try again. Nothing that's like connecting dots at all is pulling up. Okay, you know what? His email is different from what he's saying that his name is. Let's look him up by the name that's in his email. So I look up the name that's in his email, and I do find on LinkedIn a pilot working for United who lives in Chicago with that name. Okay, maybe we're onto something here. Yep, this person has owned cars. This person has bought property before. And then I went to ye old trusty Instagram. This was the kicker. I found the Instagram tied to this guy's name, of the name that was just in the email, not the name that he gave. He has 36,000 followers. This guy does have 2 twin boys. And I go and look at the followers. He does not follow Mary, and Mary doesn't follow him. Straight up on his account, it says in all capitals in the bio, only account. Any others are red flags. And I was like, gosh, darn it. She's getting catfished. And I'm so sad for her because this was like literal dreams coming true and it's not freaking real. At this point, I know too much and I know too concretely that this guy isn't actually him. On a realtor basis, I'm like, I don't want her to submit her application for it because you have to pay the $50 application fee and the $500 admin fee. And I don't want her to put this through just for this guy to scam her in the end and her be out of that money too. She's talking about quitting her job. She's talking about transferring schools. She was talking about rehoming one of her cats. She spent how many hours up here the other day to come tour and drove all of that way. I just couldn't not say something. I ripped off the Band-Aid and I texted her and was like, hey, can you hop on a call? She calls me and I'm just like, hey, how are you? And she's like, good. Like, I'm sorry this is taking so long. And I'm like, no worries. I have to ask you something and I feel a little bit awkward, but have you met him in person? And she goes, no, I haven't. And I was like, Mary, I'm going to give you some information. I am not here to judge. I would want someone to tell me it is totally up to you what you do with this information. Like I said, I am not here to judge whatsoever. I don't think that you are talking to the person that you think you're talking to. And I basically kind of ran through the whole thing of like the background checker, the Instagram. She was like, yeah, I mean, he did tell me that he is like a pilot influencer, but like I haven't looked at his page and like I know he hasn't looked at mine. And I'm like, no, like if you're dating somebody who's an influencer, you probably follow them. Like it's more weird not to. She's just like, he sends me Snapchats like all the time. Like I would have thought that these would have been actually him. Yeah. And she's like, I'm gonna call him. I will call you back and let you know. And I was like, okay, whatever it is, I'm not judging. I just want you to have all of the information possible. So she texted me later and was like, dude, I still have no answers. This is literally an entire episode of Catfish. He's talking in circles, but the weird thing is that he sent me pictures and Snapchats that aren't even on the internet. I don't get it. I talked to her about it today. She thinks that it's some sort of like Bitcoin, like money laundering scheme. And she does know at this point that he's not real and she's gonna get like the cops and stuff involved. But can I just say, whoever this guy is, to string someone along like that, to like know that she is driving 3 hours to come to Chicago to tour places, dreaming about like your guys' future life together. What a freaking scumbag. In the comments section, we are not here to talk badly about Mary. I am putting that straight out here. We are here to talk about how awful Paul is. Joe, what did I name him? For being the scumbag of the year in catfishing. I cannot believe that it is 2023 and people are still doing this. That is so awful and so sad, and I want to kick him. Anyways, situation is still updating. She said when she has more information, she'll give it to me and then I can talk to you guys about it. But freaking wildest thing that has ever happened. That beautiful 2-bed is still for rent if anybody wants it. I'm a broker with Compass and I'd love to help you. Do your due diligence. If something feels too good to be true when dating somebody, or just in general in life, if something feels too good to be true, it probably is. My dad taught me that once when I almost got scammed buying a Jeep off of Craigslist. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I will see you next time.